All right, welcome. I'm just studying now. Again, my name is Mr. K. Um, just quick intro, I guess, introduction of myself. I work at school, high school. I work as a principal, um, and I'll say any college application, it's very complicated, and which I understand. How um, you students will do this only once, pretty much in their life, maybe twice, but once usually. But I do this every year. So I will try to minimize using any jargons, anything like that. But if I say something and you have no idea, then probably other people didn't understand either. So just put it on a chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I can definitely say there's no dumb question because again, like you have never done this before. This is probably your first time doing Cal State University app or any other college application, right? So anything not clear, don't make assumption. Just put it on a chat, or you can also ask me if it's too personal. Then just ask me using a private chat, and then if it would benefit everybody, then I will state the question without obviously stating your name and answer that question. Okay, or if it's personal, then I'll just respond back to your chat. Okay. All right, so today it's about Cal State and shouldn't take too long because I can tell you that Cal State University app is way less complicated than Common App or UC application, which is a good thing. Another good thing about Cal State app is, let me make a slideshow so it's bigger for everyone. So another good thing is one application, just like you see, one application will cover all Cal State. Okay, so let's say you want to apply to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Cal States or more. Um, you're completing application only once. Okay. Um, and there's no, now I'm gonna generalize it, but mainly there's no essay, but some of the programs they might have essays, but just generally speaking, there's no essay for Cal State app. So you know how you see, I'm sure most of you are working on PIQ, maybe you're working on Common App private school essay first, but there's some kind of essay, right? But Cal State, they don't have app. Another thing is Cal State, just like UC, they're not requiring, or actually not just requiring, but they're not looking at your SAT or ACT score. So it's not even optional. You're not submitting SAT or ACT score. Okay. Um, and there's a thing called, we call it like homeschool, but depending on your resident address or your school address, there's a home Cal State University. Okay. So let's say you live somewhere near LA. Okay. Some part of LA, then Cal State LA will be your home, like Cal State. Northridge also covers LA area, so CSUN will be your home school. If you live in Cerritos, Long Beach area, so LA, but then western part of LA, then most likely Long Beach will be your homeschool. So Cal State Long Beach will be your homeschool. Now you might be asking, well, what does that mean? So if it's a home Cal State, what? So what? So if it's a home Cal State, then you have advantage of getting into that school. Okay, so maybe you heard of, oh, I go to this school and then I meet certain criteria, then I'm guaranteed to go to this Cal State. Maybe you heard of that. So that's where it's coming from. So your home Cal State, you have significant advantage, okay, of getting into that school. So if you're interested in applying to Cal State, either as your whatever your dream school to backup school to whatever, right? Um, just I wanna let you know. Your home Cal State will be beneficial. Like if you apply to that, you're gonna have easier time getting in. Okay, less competitive. All right. And Cal State it's covered all over the place. And great thing about Cal State is they are very hands-on, experience-based school. So if you're looking for a job, okay, so um, then they're good at preparing their students for job market. Okay. So probably you heard a lot of teachers coming out of Cal State, or maybe you heard some of the engineers coming out of Cal State. Okay. So yeah, they do a good job in preparing students with a hands-on. UC is more research-based school. Okay, but Cal State, UC, both of them are public school. So if you are either U.S. citizen or legal resident who claims California as your home resident state, then you're gonna get a significant discount in tuition. Okay, all right. All right. Cal State, there's a thing called impacted majors. Impacted majors means it's more competitive, I'll say, to get in because there are more students applying for the major. Okay. Now, um, you can save this. Let me put this on the chat so you can save this too. But when you click on it, I'm putting this on chat. Okay. When you click on it, you're gonna see this chart. Okay. This chart is basically showing, oh, I forgot to ask you, but you guys are able to hear, I assume, right? Um, so this chart is showing that um, which school and which major is more impacted or more competitive. Okay. More students are applying, so there's more competition. Okay. So one example. Let's say I'm gonna just choose one random school, Pomona. Okay, so that's a Cal State Pomona and biological science. Okay, then you can see that it's I, red I under Pomona, right? Biological science, Pomona, I. That means it's impacted. That means a lot of students are applying for that major, and it's harder to get it. What does this O means? So for example, art, and then same school, Pomona. It's O, right? That means open. So it is less competitive or there's less competition to get into the major, okay? You might have noticed that some of the schools have eyes all across. Okay, that means those Cal States are more competitive schools where all the majors are basically a lot of students are applying to those majors, which means those schools are very popular schools. So Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Long Beach, Cal State San Diego, or SDSU, or San Diego State, same names, San Jose State, and SLO, those are impacted schools through and through. Okay. That doesn't mean that you cannot get in anything like that. I'm just saying that it's more competitive than other schools. Okay. So these are the five schools that's more impacted this year. Now, this one changes over time. So last year, there were eight schools. This time, five schools. Okay. Any questions so far? Everyone's okay? Okay. So let's get into registering and completing some of the questions on Cal State. Okay. So first, easiest way is you can go to calstate.edu/apply, okay? Or you can go to Google and just type Cal State apply or CSU application, CSU apply. Then you're gonna go to this website, okay? All right. Is everybody okay? So far, so good? It'll be nice if you have two screens up, so you're seeing what I'm typing or what I'm looking at, or what I'm projecting, and then you open another web browser, and then okay, okay, good. And then click on Start Your Fall 2027 application on top, right here. Start your Fall 2027 application. Okay, because you're gonna be entering 2027 September or August. Okay, so start your fall 2027 application. Okay, and then you're gonna be directed here. Okay, all right. Just uh, type it into chat if you got lost. Okay, then I can slow down. So you're here. Okay, everybody should be seeing this page. And then on the bottom, you're gonna see create account. Click on it. Type your name. What did I say about middle name, by the way? Do you remember? It's better to put middle name, okay? Because sometimes there's a student with the exactly same first name, last name, especially Asian students, right? Like their common last names, first name, last name, and then it's nice to put middle name so it doesn't get confused. Um, And you're always putting the legal name, okay? Not the name you go by. There's a section in the college application where you can put the names that you use personally or with your friends or within your family. But here you're going to put the legal name, okay? Make sure you put correct email address. And we talked about this for other application, but do not use school email, okay? Create one under Gmail, something like that, okay? Um, I noticed that some of the Chinese students, they don't want to use Gmail. They want to use the email account that you can use in mainland China because sometimes it get filtered out. So that is okay too, as long as it's not a school email, okay? Because like I said, school email, I guarantee you it gets filtered. Okay, so don't use a school email, okay? I think I used, which one did I use last time? Hmm. It's this one. I'm gonna use this one again. And it'll be okay. Okay, and then put the password. My suggestion, use the password that you use for Common App or UC or and make the variation from there. Okay. All right. Mm. Preferred phone number, that's your cell phone number usually. Alternate phone number, usually students put their parent phone number. You might get text messages, that's why. Okay, so I want you to put the number that you can get the text message. Okay. European Union data protection. So you're here, you're not from European Union countries, so you put no. You know, count. Okay. Um, Now just my case, I had an account already created. That's why you might not see that page, but my case, I created an account before. That's why. Okay. Education goal. Most of you, most of you are probably first time applying to Cal State. So it will be first bachelor's degree, seeking your first bachelor's degree and have not earned a prior bachelor's degree. Okay. Now, some of you could be, you already got a bachelor's degree and then you're working on like master's degree, something like that. Then sure, it will be the second bachelor's. Okay. Dual enrollment is different thing. None of you probably is a dual enrollment student with Cal State in this case. Which of the following best describes your current education status? Graduating high school senior. Most of you are that case, but some of you, every year I have number of students that I help who are transferring. Okay, so if you're a transfer student right now, let's say you're at community college and you're transferring, then you'll be clicking this. But Many of you are high school graduate. You're graduating high school this year, so you'll be putting high school senior equivalent. Okay. Have you earned or are you planning to earn college credit before graduating high school, including through concurrent or dual enrollment courses? Basically, high school, this one only applies to high school students mainly, but let's say you have taken community college course somehow, okay? Either through your high school. I know a number of students take like English 12 through like community college, or you wanted to expand your knowledge by taking, let's say, computer networking class, okay, through community college, okay? That could be the case too, right? So if you have taken any community college course, okay, and you have received a letter grade, then you're putting yes, okay? Now, if you are planning to take it, then you're gonna put yes. Okay. You're not sure. You're thinking about it. Okay. Then press yes. Okay. Um, so let's say, oh, you know what? I have never taken any community college course, but then I think I want to take one course because I've been thinking about taking this, I don't know, some kind of coding class. Okay. And then it's offered through community college. Then put yes, because then there's a section where you're going to be able to put that in. Okay. Now, important thing is if you put something on college application saying that, you know what, college, reviewer, I'm planning to take, um, linear math, you know, or I'm planning to take, um, sign language from community college, okay, any class. Then if you say you're planning to take, then you have to take it. Now, there's a way, obviously, not to take it. One way is you let them know that I I had a plan, but I'm not taking it anymore. Okay, that is okay, but that can impact your college application, so you have to be careful. Okay, what you put. Now, that's why I say if you're planning to take, or if you have taken, make sure you put yes here. Okay, but if you're not sure, put yes for now, and then we can make a change later as we complete the college application. But for now, put yes, okay? Because I want you to get credit for everything that you will do and you have done, okay? But you have to be careful when you say, I'm gonna do it, and then you don't do it, okay? Have you ever served in the United States military? Most of you probably know. Okay. International applicant. So this is only for students who has F1 visa or some kind of exchange student visa. J1, F1, F2, those or J2. Um, if you have those type of a visa, then you press yes. If you're a legal resident, you are a US citizen, then you say no. Okay. And and then it's gonna say, what is your permanent home? Where is that? Most of you probably California, but some of you are joining us from another state, then probably that is the state. Okay. But most of you probably from California. So far, so good. Okay. I don't see any question on chat. So good. Um, now, Um, Cal State had a significant change in terms of the layout, okay? But the questions are pretty much the same as previous years. So if you have older siblings who have applied to Cal State and then you've seen them before, then the questions are pretty much the same, but layout is different, okay? All right, so in order to move on to the next step, you have to choose at least one major. Okay. So you have no idea. Okay. You have no idea. Then it is okay. All right. You can make a change anytime. All right. So right now, I'm just going to choose one program. Okay. So I'm just going to put, let's say, Fullerton. Okay. Then if I type the name of the school or the campus, and then click on that school, then I'm gonna see all the majors that they offer. Okay, all the majors. Okay, that's pretty awesome, right? Or let's say I want to be a, you know what? I don't know what school I'm planning to, but um, let's say I want to be a bio major. Okay. Okay. Then on top right corner under programs, if you just type in biology, then it's going to give you all the campuses with bio major. Okay. You see that? So those are two different ways to approach. Let's say, you know what? I only want to apply to two schools and I don't know what major, so I kind of want to research, but then I know it's going to be Fullerton and Long Beach, let's say, right? Then I just type in Fullerton, click on it, and then just go through what majors do they have, right? I can do that or clear it. I go to program and then I know what major I want to do. I just don't know which school. So I just put let's say Long Beach. I want to go to Cal State Long Beach, but I don't know what oops, we call the Long Beach. I don't know, oh, my bad. Programs. So let's say I want to do like something about engineering, but I don't know what campus. Then you just put engineering as a program. Then you're going to see how Fullerton has these engineering programs, right? One example. And then I can click on all of them, right? Because I searched Fullerton, that's why Fullerton is, right? But I can type in click on all these campuses, and then I can check, okay, what engineering programs do other campuses have? Bakersfield, okay. Cal Poly SLO, okay, they have these programs. Humboldt, okay, they have these type of engineering programs, so on and so forth. So I have so many different ways to do it, okay? Um, I'm gonna just for now, for the sake of, just moving on, I'll just choose computer engineering. Okay. And here's a reason why I choose that program. When I click on add, I don't, I can just move on to next, right? But I'm gonna go to Fullerton, maybe Calpoli, about that. I'm gonna click on aerospace engineering. Okay. And then this program somehow, previous one, because it's less impacted, I could have just moved on to next page. But for Cal Poly Slow, probably you already heard of that school, which is very famous and hard to get in engineering school. And when I click on aerospace engineering under Cal Poly, then it says program has been added, but they're asking you to add alternate program because it is very impacted, very competitive. Okay. That means, hey, just like UC and Common App, hey, that major is impacted, so why don't you choose another one? So if you don't make it, then at least we can offer you different major. That's what it is. So you're improving your chance. So I'll click on alternate and then choose the one that if I don't get into engineering, then maybe I'm gonna go for something else. Okay, so I'm gonna just choose random one, but this time, but biomedical engineering, select. Then I chose two, right? First option and then second alternate. Okay. All right, there's a question. Let me take a look. Okay. So this might benefit other students too. So I'll read the question and I'll answer it. So question is if students, if you're thinking about pre-med or medical route, and is it better to choose biology or general biology versus other majors? Okay, so if it's a medical route, oftentimes schools don't have a pre-med. Some special schools have some special pre-med programs, but if not, general biology is okay. But if you're thinking medical route, then you always want to choose. Okay. Bio with BS. Okay, not BA. Okay. Bachelor's in science, not bachelor's in arts. You want to go for BS. Also, if you want to go for very specific type of, you already know like neuroscience, anything like that, then you can go for that. But bio general is fine. Yes. And hopefully I answer your question. Okay. All right. So you have to choose at least one major to move on to next page. Okay. So choose one and we moved on. Okay. Now, then this is the dashboard. This page has everything. Okay. If you complete this page, then you're done. Okay. So let's take a look at these pages. First one I'm gonna go to is a personal information section. Okay. So, oh, if I go to that, you're gonna see check mark. Remember, like Common App and UC too. But you see a green check mark. That means that section is done. Yes, that means that section is done, and these sections are not done yet. That's why it doesn't have a check mark. Um, Now, something about CalState is if you do not complete one page, you cannot save and come back. So you gotta complete that page. Okay. That's a little bit pain in the butt. Okay, remember how Common App you put one thing for the page and then you move on. You can always come back and that whatever you put is saved. This one doesn't. Okay, so you have to complete page by page. Okay, we already answered all these questions. That's why I had a check mark. Save and continue. Okay. Next one. Um, it's about how whatever you're putting correct, all that, So you have to check that, yes, your certification of this statement serve the same purpose as a legal signature, blah, blah, blah. Okay. CASP, if you're from public school, okay, if you're private school, don't worry about it. You don't take CASP. But if you have attended public school, your 11th grade, then you have taken test called CASP or CASP or SBAC or Smarter Balance. Okay. Now, for Cal State, if you have done the Smarter Balance or CASP well, which means 3 or 4 out of 4 in English and math, then you don't have to take placement test. Okay, it doesn't impact your application itself, but it impacts when you get in. So when you're offered, you don't have to take the placement test if you have done CASP well. Okay, so yeah, so you're going to be choosing, yeah, I completed CASP assessment and agreed to release my result. That's good. Now, if you know that, you were sick and you didn't do well, or you didn't take the test, or you went to private school, then you're going to choose this one. Okay. So you just check your score. Maybe you remember, but if you got 3 or higher on math, 3 or higher, in English, then you should check complete the CASP. I completed the CASP assessment and agreed to release my result. Choose that, okay? But if you got 2 or lower, no point. If you didn't take it, no point. You went to private school, then you didn't take it, so no point. Then you choose this, okay? Acknowledge above statement, obviously, um, and this one is um, basically all the test scores, so on and so forth, you're like releasing, so on and so forth. So um, just press yes. I know there are students who's very protective of their information, so on and so forth. So remember when I was going over Common App and there were a number of students who my recommendation was to waive your right to read letter recommendation, but some students, if you don't want to, that's okay. It's up to you, but that's my recommendation. Okay. Uh, Legal name, there you go. Formal name, here you go. Do you have any materials under a formal legal name? Which means, let's say you had different name, your 9th grade, and then you got US citizenship. So you had to change your name, something like that. Then you will say yes or no. Yes, right? But most of the cases it'll be no. But I know some students they change their name legally, and then you say yes. Okay. But most students they keep their legal name through high school, so then you put no. Okay. Would you like to share different first name? If there is any. If not, then you just keep it as it is. Now, when it comes to gender questions, remember how Common App and UC, it did not have a red asterisk mark, so you didn't have to answer the question. It was optional. For Cal State, it is not optional. You have to answer them. Okay, so you can decline to state, but you cannot leave it blank. So you're forced to choose one. Okay, so sure, you can decline to state, but doesn't matter. Shouldn't impact either way. Okay. Okay, your birthday, whatever, doesn't matter. Uh, Birth, country, what state you were born in. Again, not gonna, Orange County, I'll just choose Orange County. Oh, I'll just choose LA. Atlanta. Okay, not important. Okay. These to see if you're independent or dependent student. Most likely you're going to be dependent. Again, unless you are a transfer student. Okay. So anytime since turned age 13 or both of your parents disease or you foster care, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Most of you probably know. As determined by a court in your state of legal residence, are you or were you an emancipated minor? No. What that means is you went to the court and says, I'm gonna be independent. Don't worry about my parents. Okay. So I doubt anybody went through that legal process. At any time on or after July 1st, 2026, did your high school or school district homeless liaison determine that you were unaccompanied youth? So basically, are you homeless, right? So most likely no. At any time on or after July 1st, 2026, did the director of the emergency shelter, so this is about shelter, something happened to the city, county where you live, and then something happened, so you were displaced, and then you guys were um, uh, under the care of the state or the federal government. And even though maybe you have a home, but then like you know how there was a big house fire back in LA. These things impacted you, then probably, but then most likely no. At any time on or before, runaway home again, like runaway home centers, so on and so forth. So most likely no. So you're living with your parents, family, or one parent, but you're dependent of someone, then most likely it's gonna be no. Okay, moving on. Oh, did I do? Okay. Too young. Uh, Gold. Sure. Okay. You're putting the address, okay, here. Now, I will show you something. So I'm not gonna complete everything because, it's too much of work, blah, blah, blah. And then I say save and continue. And then it says, it gives me an error, right? And then I cannot move on to the next section, right? Remember how UC and Commoner you were able to, but here, so you have to complete one section at a time. However, you can completely skip that section and you can come back later. Okay. It's just whatever the answer you put, they don't get saved. And, so you cannot complete half the page and move on. Okay. Um, okay. So next one is a US citizenship. Are you US citizen, permanent resident, so on and so forth? Easy question. So I'm going to move on. Race and ethnicity. Now, again, red asterisk mark, what does that mean? Required to answer. Okay, so you got to answer them. Are you American? Mostly no. Are you Hispanic or Latino? You can say decline to stay, or you can say no. It's up to you. And you have to choose what race and you know uh, your ethnic background. Okay, you have to choose one. Um, Whatever. I'll just choose one. Move on. Um, it's about social security number. Again, you don't remember your social security number, then you won't be able to complete this section, right? Because you have to complete it or you gotta skip right now. So if you remember, great, enter your social security number. State ID. Hey, do you remember the state ID? The California state ID where for not common But for UC, you can put your school, not your school ID, but your student ID or California student ID. That is a 10-digit long number. You put that information, then automatically you're going to be able to retrieve some information for your college application. Makes your life a little bit easier. Sure. But still you have to check. Okay. Your first language. If you speak another language, you choose them. We talked about military service. If next question is, are you a dependent, a person who's currently serving? So your parents served or serving in the U.S. military, then you choose one of those. Okay. Like my friend he's in reserve. So his kids will be putting yes, reservist. Okay. Reservist. But other cases, most of you probably know. Okay. Are you in good standing with your last school attendant? Yes. Unless now, if you were suspend, I'm not talking about suspension, expulsion, then you gotta let me know, okay? If you're expelled from school. Uh, have you ever experienced academic probation or academic disqualification by any colleges or university? Now, if you are a high school student graduating from high school, that doesn't imply you can say, nope, obviously not. If you're a transfer student and then something happened, most likely not. I don't see any transfer student getting in this type of trouble, but then you gotta let me know. Okay. These things you don't wanna lie. Okay. But most of the students will be no. Okay. And high school students, if you don't know what academic probation or academic disqualification, then that's okay. Okay, this is from college and university only. Have you ever experienced discipline for student conduct violation, suspension, expulsion, blah, blah, by any college or university? Okay, so any college or university. Okay, not high school. Select your interest or obtaining. Okay. It's about teaching credential program. If you want to be a teacher, then you say, oh, I'm interested. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. So that's what you're choosing. So no, I'm not interested in teaching credential program. I'm planning to maybe later or I want to be a teacher. That's why I'm applying to Cal State. Basically those three options. CalFresh is for low-income family. If you are receiving CalFresh, then you know. You can ask your parents, but that's for low-income family. Most students will be no. Um, are you interested in participating in the finishing for and through into? So this is a special program, okay? And you can read basically about this program here, but most of the programs basically it's low income families, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'll put no. How did you hear about Cal State counselor, maybe your family? Oh, I did not answer something. That's why. Oh, here you go. See, I answer everything, but I don't know my social security number, then nothing saved. I have to start from the uh, beginning because nothing's gonna be saved. See how I come back? Then nothing saved. I have to start from the fresh. Other information, do you have US? Oh, we just see how nothing saved when I come back. So make sure you finish one page at a time. Okay. Financial parent and parental information. So this is about your parents. Okay. It's gonna ask about your parent information, just like you see in Common App. So do you have any of those statements? This is again, it's about dependent and independent thing. Okay. So do you have, most of you probably will be dependent student. Okay. So let's go one at a time. You already answered this question for your UC and ComNet. You were born before January 1st, 2004. Probably not. You're currently an active duty member or veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. No. As of today, you're married or you're separated but not divorced. No, most of your high school students, right? You have or will have children. Probably not. Someone other than your parent or step parents had legal guardianship of you. Probably not. At any time since you turned age 13, both of your parents were deceased. No. So foster youth again, right? At any time, your high school emergency shelter homeless youth. So basically, you're categorized as a homeless. Okay, no. And you currently do not live with your parents and have had not had contact or financial support from them for the last 12 months or more, which means you're like independent. Like you're supporting yourself. Your parents are completely out of your picture. That's what it means. So I assume most of you would be no. Okay, then it will say, how many people live in your house and being supported? So let's say you, your parent, so that's three people. And then let's say your grandma lives with you. Okay, and then that grandma is not working, but then basically part of that one, that family income pot. Um, then there are four people. Okay, and it includes you. Okay, if that's the case. If it's your parents and just you, three of you are living, then it'll be three. If it's just your mom and you, it'll be two. If your mom, dad, you, your younger brother, grandma, grandpa, and your young uncle living with you, and your parents pretty much support him, that's seven people. Then you could be seven. What was your parents' total income earned in 2025? This is a question for your parent. This is not for the financial aid. This is for the application, free application. Okay. So ask your parents, then as your parents can give you some ballpark. It doesn't have to be an exact number. Okay. Um, it could be 80,000, it could be 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, whatever that is. Okay. Uh, campus housing, important. Okay. So are you interested in on-campus housing? Should space be available? Okay. Now, you might be thinking, you know, Cal State LA, it's not too far, so I can drive there. Or Cal State Pomona, it's not too far from me. It's Orange County. I live in Orange County. It's like maybe 45 minutes. Then maybe I can drive. So maybe I'll think about it later. And then you put no, you're never gonna be offered a space. Okay, just press yes. My suggestion is always live on campus first year, but another thing is you want to be independent. That's why I want you to live on campus. Sure, every family situation is different, but that's my suggestion. Second thing, if you put yes, and then you're offered the housing, and then something changed, like let's say you move really close to the school, your family decide to move there, then you can say no anytime. You can release it. Okay, that's easier than trying to get the room later. So secure the room first, and then release it. Okay, so put yes. Parent education level is whatever the parent education level, you know, um, if your parents didn't go to college, you're first gen, by the way. Okay, you have a better chance. And then you put parent information. This is where you put the parent information. Obviously, I'm gonna skip it, but um, it asks about your parents' name, basic information, name, where they live, are they legal residents, so on and so forth, like really basic things. Okay. Then you're done with the personal information section. I don't know if you realize, but these questions were exactly same questions were asked on your Common App and UC App. So you can reuse them over and over. Once you find the information, you can use them. Okay. There's no new question that's being asked. Okay? All the questions were basically asked before when you worked on UC and Common App. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back to dashboard. So that we talked about the personal information. Okay. Talked about the personal information. Okay. I'm gonna move on to it automatically. If you just click next, then you're gonna go to academic history. Okay. But I'm gonna go to supporting information because this one's easy. I can just finish it in a minute. Okay. So supporting information is this is where you put how much of an activities that you have done. Okay. But not as in depth as Common App or UC App. That's the beauty of it. Cal State makes it so simple to apply to college. So here you go. First question, have you participated in any of these programs in high school and beyond? AVID. If you have never heard of it, that means you never participated in. AVID is a program for students who's a mid student, not high achieving, not low achieving, but the mid. Okay. And then it's a program to lift them up or higher. So if you participated in AVID, you know you're an AVID student. Okay. Federal Outreach Program, uh, Low Income Family Program. EAP, ELP, and EOP, Low Income Family Program, Puente Project, MESA, all these, most of them are low income foster youth, so on and so forth. Okay, so most likely you have not participated. If you did, maybe AVID, maybe. Okay, but if you have participated in any of them, sure, you can click yes, and then you can maybe I have seen students participate in EAOP or EOP, but not a lot of other things. Okay, now next one is more important, which is many of you probably will answer something here, which is work information. What was the average number of hours worked per week over the most recent 36 months? This means how many hours have you worked getting paid? Okay, so did you have a job? That's what it's asking. Okay, if you did, how many hours did you work per week? Okay, so let's say you just got a job. Okay, and you just got a job and you're working like 6 or 7 hours a week for about 3 months. So what should I put? Then you're gonna put 6 to 10 hours because it's 6 to 7 hours, and it's recent, whatever, a few months. So that's okay. All right. Recent 36 months. Why? Because if you worked in middle school, you shouldn't be, but let's say you did, getting paid, then it doesn't count because it's more than 36 months ago. So we're talking about high school year, right? 9th, 10th, 11th, most recent 36 months. Have you worked? If you did, roughly how many hours did you work per week? That's what it's asking. Okay. I can tell you most students will put zero. Okay. Never had a job. Okay. Volunteered, but not job with a paid job. Cashier or working at Disneyland, or working at your parents' store and getting whatever paid. Those things all count as long as you got paid. But if it's 0 hours, don't worry about it because a lot of students don't have jobs, right? As a high school student. Moving on to the next one. But this one, you're going to put a lot of hours. Extracurricular programs, hours of participation in leadership. This one, yes, you do. So extracurricular activities are leadership in clubs, Boy Scout, Girl Scout, drama, uh, club, science club, after school yearbook, whatever that is. You've been doing extracurricular activities on school, off campus, during school day, after school hours, weekdays, weekends, doesn't matter. Church, doesn't matter. At school, doesn't matter. Anytime you did internship, extracurricular activities, additional work hours. Remember how for UC and Common App, activities are so many different types of activities, right? But then they were asked separately, like you choose this one is extracurricular activity. This one is a volunteer work. This is a summer camp. Like you had to separate them. You don't have to. That's the beauty of Cal State. So you lumped everything together and then being asked, on average, how many hours per week did you work? Did you get involved in these things? I can tell you probably most of you will be 21 or more hours. Okay? Probably because you're adding everything. And then next question is, did you hold leadership position? Okay. I'll say mostly yes. President, vice president, treasurer, uh, sophomore rep, um, section leader, communication leader, communication coordinator, whatever the position you had. If you had a position, you were putting yes, I had a leadership position. Okay. Even let's say I was in charge of this, whatever the small project. So you're the project manager, right? Project leader. Were you a leader? Yes. Now, what if I participated in 20 different things, but I was just a freshman rep because somebody said I should just step up and do something. So I said yes, but then I never did anything, but they said I was a freshman rep. Should I put I was a leader? That's the only thing I did? Yes. They're not asking they're not asking, um, a lot of things, okay? Uh, I'm under, actually, I'm pretty much done with this, so hold on. Okay. And then I'm gonna save and continue. Then next section, it's gonna be asking about educational opportunity program. Right now, under this one is under supporting information. Okay. So first one was about extracurricular activities. Second one is about, are you interested in education opportunity program? This program is for traditionally underserved uh, students. Okay, so mainly Black African American students, Hispanic Latino students, Native American students. Now, if you're none of that, then you're low income family, or let's say your parents divorced, and then and um, so single parent family, foster youth. So any hardship, right? Then you can apply for this program. But I can tell you that this program is mainly for like low income families, underserved, students. Okay. So you can say, yes, I want to apply, but then you have to write an essay. If you do that, not an essay, but you have to write why you qualify. If you say no, then that's it. Okay. Now, if you know that you're living with both parents and your parents are making enough, so you're not going to qualify for much of a like financial aid, you already know that, just put no. Okay, don't waste your time. And now you can say yes, but remember how you have to finish one page at a time? It won't save. So you're not going to be able to save it right now. So what you do is just click on yes, I'll return later to complete these EOP questions. Then you move on. Okay. If you think you're going to qualify for low income, this special program. Okay. EOP program basically provides free like services for students who qualify and decide to go to Cal State. Okay. But I can tell you most students will be no, depending on your income. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go back. So supporting information, we're done. Extracurricular activities, work experience, and EOP. Those were supporting information. Done. Okay. Personal information. Okay. We completed some of them together, but then we went over all questions. Okay. Now we are down to these two things. Okay. I'm gonna go to academic history. Academic information. First question, did you complete high school, secondary school outside of the United States? Okay, most of you, no, you're completing it here. Okay, if you click on yes, then it's gonna ask you about different questions, but no, okay, you're completing it here. Next question is college attended. You remember how um, I put, yes, I have attended community college. That's why I got this section. Now, if you put no, then you're not gonna see this section because you already put no. I never attended community college. You're not gonna even see this. But because I did, I'm seeing this. Okay. I can upload it manually. Okay. Uh, or I can upload the transcript and then it's gonna automatically calculate. I can do it either way. Okay. But I'm gonna skip it. College coursework, same thing. Once I upload, then it's gonna show you what courses that you have taken, and then you have to verify if you have taken that class or not. Okay, so if you have done community college courses, okay, I'm gonna skip it. Standardized test. Wait, Mr. Kang, you said they don't look at SAT and ACT. What's going on? Why is there standardized test section? Well, because there are still standardized tests called AP. That's why, okay? So you can see that freshman applicants, ACT and SAT test score will not be used for any admission purposes and applicants are not required to submit these scores, period. Now, if you came to the United States later part of your high school days, not since freshman, you immigrate here after 10th grade, okay? Then there are several options to meet your language proficiency. SAT and ACT is one way to do that. Okay, that's why they're giving you an option. Okay, but you attended high school here since freshman year. Okay, you attended high school in the United States since freshman year. You're okay. You're covered with language proficiency. Now, transfer student, again, it's a little bit different, uh, Uh, but basically, this is a section where you're going to be putting AP scores, okay? AP scores. So you can add standardized test. You put AP or IB, by the way. If you went to, for example, Troy, they have an IB program, and then you can put IB test score here too. Okay, so either AP, IB. Okay, most of you. Um, If you had perfect score in SAT or ACT, it doesn't matter if you put it up here or not, okay? They're not going to look at that, unfortunately. Okay, questions about the test. Okay. Now, some students ask, okay, I took AP test and then I got 2. Should I put it there? No, don't put it. No reason to. Uh, I got 3 for Cal State, okay? I got 3 and like it's a passing score, but I don't want to put it. My suggestion is you should put it. Okay, you got 3. Why not? Get credit. You're a transfer student, you should put obviously AP scores, especially if it's higher than 3 because you get course credit. You know that already. Um, and oh, what if I'm planning to take AP Golf test, but I'm not sure. I may not. Just put it here. Okay. Later, you're gonna have an option to upload your AP score from your senior year. You can say, I decide not to take it. That's okay. It's not gonna change your application. Okay. Are you clear on that? Any question about, should I put AP score or not? So 3 or higher, put it there. You're planning to take it, put it there. Keep on going back to the personal information because I didn't complete that section. Okay. Um, what else? Oh, okay. Um, I'm just putting the information because something I want to show you. So see how I'm just putting random information by the way, just to show you when it's completed and how it looked like. Okay. Uh, okay. When I complete all the informations, then you're gonna see this bar right here is completed in green. That's what I want to show you. Okay. Now, see how not all bars are completed, right? Because I didn't complete all sections. I skipped some of the sections. That's why. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. Now, let's say you made a mistake. Okay. Let's say you made a mistake. For example, actually, you're a transfer student. You can always go back to extended profile and make that change. Okay. Okay. I never went to a community college. There you go. I made a mistake. So I changed. Then see how it's gonna ask you um, to update the information again. So I have to update the information. Okay. But it is doable. Um, it is just um, it is just you have to update the information. That's the only thing. Okay. All right. Let's say you don't have any tests. See how I said I don't have any tests. Then see how I complete all the sections already. Now I'm left to the final section, which will take literally a minute. Okay. Final section is the program materials. So what that means is when you go in, okay, it lists all the colleges basically you're applying to. Okay. That's the section. See how, remember I chose two schools. One was a Bakersfield with computer engineering. Sure. That's what I applied to. And Cal Poly SLO with uh, aerospace engineering, right? So those were the two. And if I want to add more, I can add more, right? Then I would have more listed here, okay? But so far I just choose two, and these are the two things I see. And what you need to do is you need to answer whatever the questions that each school is asking. So first one, aerospace engineering from Cal Poly, and let's see what they're asking. So this is a basic information about the school. And then it's asking I have read everything. I'm not lying. There's a fee I'm gonna pay, blah, blah, blah. So I have to acknowledge. Please indicate the level you're applying to. So this question will be asked mostly by uh, most campuses ask this question, which is again, like, are you international student? Are you first year graduating? Are you transfer? So on and so forth. Okay. And it's listing that I'm meeting all the A through G. I have taken Algebra 1 or higher. So I'm meeting the requirements for Cal State. I'm just acknowledging that. That's all. Housing. Remember housing? What should you answer? On campus? Off campus with my parents? For now, choose on campus. You get an offer of a room, then later you decide not to, then just say no. Okay. Location check. Okay. That's that. So by checking the box below, you're confirming that you have selected the correct location. San Luis Obispo campus, Solano, Ellen Hancock, Cuesta, for the major you're applying to. Okay, not Cal Poly Pomona or other campuses. Safe. Okay. See how I get a check mark? Guess what? I'm done with Cal Poly. Bakersfield. See how their questions are very easy. That's why I said like literally a minute or so. Housing. I'm gonna say on campus. Transcript submission requirements. So official transcripts from each college or university can be sent to by these different options. What does that mean? Because this campus, okay, Bakersfield, computer engineering, they're requiring you to submit the college if you have attended, community college, blah, blah, blah. That transcript sent directly to them. Okay, so you have to follow the information. Now, what happens if you don't? I'll say mostly they're gonna say no, mostly they're gonna say, oh, you forgot. You're gonna get portal. And then portal says you have to complete this. And then there's a section that how it says your transcript's missing. Then you have to follow through. Okay. Um, but you don't want to be in that situation. Make sure you follow through. Okay. So please send one official copy. But it depends on the school and the major. So if you didn't choose this one, then you wouldn't see this. Okay. Save. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to dashboard. I have completed everything in hour. I'm ready to basically send. It'll say fee waiver. I'm not eligible because I put, I think, 80,000 or so. So basically my family is making too much. That's why. Okay. So no, it's not working out. Okay. No fee waiver. I have to pay for each school's application fee. Okay. Test scores, I haven't put anything, so that's why it says that. Recommendation, I'm not required to submit any recommendation. Like I said, Cal State, depending on the campus, they might say yes, you need a recommendation. But I can tell you, unless you're a transfer student, you're not going to see that much. Okay. Now, but you're a transfer student, right now you're at community college and you're trying to transfer to Cal State. Many campuses will say you're gonna need to submit at least one letter of recommendation. Okay, only transfer students. Okay, but many of you, no. High school students, no. It's very simple. I'm done. I can submit right now. Okay, I'm ready to submit the application. It's just I can't yet because their submission date is not open yet. College application is open, but they're not accepting applications yet. That's why. Okay. All right. That's the gist of it. Now, you notice that different questions are being asked per campus and major. Okay. So, sure. Eventually, when you're working with me, we have to take a look at these different questions. Okay. But, um, but other than that, personal information, academic history, supporting that, those things will be, uh, um, pretty much the same for any student. Okay. And like I said, transfer students, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, so you have to work with me, but basic things are pretty much the same. Okay. All right. Any questions before I close the session? And let me stop sharing and let me stop recording too.